NBA 2K19 tutorial number 9. Today is part 2 of my defensive settings breakdown video, so this will again be a detailed study of defensive settings, but this time I'm going to show you guys how to create a frantic switch defense. There will also be film review on the major benefits and competitive advantage that this type of switch heavy frantic defense system can bring you. And also make sure you please watch tutorial number 8 for more settings and also a previous system and also some basic fundamentals that you're going to need to know to use the switch system I'm teaching you today. So you can just go to my all 2K19 tutorials playlist on my homepage and you can watch tutorial number 8 if you haven't before watching this one. Alright? So in tutorial 8, we used a grinded out methodical type of defense as created by the defensive settings that I showed you, right? But today what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the defensive settings. So we're going to make some changes and we're going to create a scrambling all switch defense as you are seeing some of the highlights that I'm showing you on clip there. Now this system actually requires you to actually do a lot of reading and reacting with your CPU teammates. So it's a lot more challenging, but at the same time because of that it's more rewarding and effective. This is a team-oriented system and it's not about having one amazing defender doing all the work but doing all the work together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the settings you need to create this, and also I'm going to teach you how to learn and understand what makes switching goes on 2K19 to help yourself. So like I said, make sure though you watch tutorial number 8 first to learn the basics and why this kind of switch type defense might suit your roster over the hedge heavy system that I showed you previously on tutorial number 8. And as always, with good defense, it always leads to easy offense. So make sure you do have the settings as identical as you see in the coach settings here. Make sure the team communication is turned on and everything is just as like that. You can take a screenshot if you want or pause the screen. And obviously make sure adaptive coaching engine is off. I forgot to mention that last time. So everything else also the same. These are the settings you need for coaching and controller. And ideally for a small ball, you need a small ball roster to run this type of frantic switch heavy defense. So I'll be using the Golden State Warriors as an example here. And I will be running the def lineup mostly where KD and Green are the bigs, so which is perfect for this kind of system, but you can do it with any other teams or any lineup you want. But let's take a look at the settings. So first things first, extend pressure. You gotta make sure that's off for everyone to know, but you gotta scroll R1 L1 to every player and change it to no, because that's just the way 2K is. You can't change it all at once, so make sure you scroll down every player and turn extend pressure to no so you don't get full court press. You don't want that. And in terms of the drive help rules and the scoop help rules, just like in tutorial number 8, you can set them to help and no rotation. And this is actually much more important than previous tutorial in 8, because once again what happens is the initial defender is going to help and no one's going to help the helper, right? That's what it needs, help and no rotation. But small ball switching requires a lot of touch and recovery help, because as you can see Curry kind of got lost on the switch there, and you're prone to that because of the switch defense. But as you can see right there, KD slid over because of the help and no rotation. He was the initial defender, and you can tell Draymond is still sticking to Baines because there's no help the helper. But for both drive help rules and also pick and roll screen help rules, help and no rotation is very beneficial to your frantic switch defense that I'll be showing you the rest of the way. So double team, just change that to manual. Double team on perimeter, also manual for now. You don't need a lot of that because you're doing a lot of switching, so double team, you should bring it yourself, don't make them automatically. And in terms of the post defense, make sure it's 3/4 bottoms because it's way better for help defense and stealing. But the off-ball screen, this time you want to change that to switch all. So what that does is it makes sure the on-ball and hedge defender will switch defensive assignments, no matter the position. Point guard, center, power forward, 2 guard, small forward, shooting guard, point guard, power forward, they're all going to switch every off-ball screen when it happens. Okay, so you can see, let me show you a clip. So you can see double the off-ball action here between Tatum and Horford and Green. As you can see, the switch prompt is turned on, and he's just going to switch with KD. So now KD guards Horford and Green picks Tatum up. That's the switch all defense for off-ball screens. But the 3/4 bottoms on the post is also kicking in, so Durant is kind of in front of Horford. He plays the passing lane nicely, and he was able to get that poke. And here, make sure stay attached is set to no. I know I put it on automatic here. I just took a bad screenshot, so that's my fault. But you want to make sure stay attached is set to no, so the defense switches as quickly as possible, because you don't need Yes, because you're trying to get, when you put it to yes, you're trying to guard fades. But if you're switching anyways, you are guarding the fade. So no is the best option since you're switching everything. And the on-ball screen for the center and the hedge, you don't have to worry about the hedge. All you're going to do is go to the on-ball screen for center or even for non-centers and change that to switch all. And then the hedge is going to be automatic. It doesn't really matter because when you change this to switch all for on-ball screen or on-ball screen bracket center, they're going to switch every screen no matter which player is playing. Power forward, once again, every position. And force direction, make sure it's baseline so it makes it easier to help. So you can see again, this is happening. They run the switch action between, the screen action between Smart and Horford here. And you can see Draymond and Clay already switched it up. So now my center, their center is being guarded by my 2 guard, but I don't care. I'm switching everything. So now Horford comes up to set another screen for Tatum. So Iggy and Clay are about to switch again because I have the system set to on-ball screen for center or on-ball screen for everybody else, as demonstrated here. Everything is being switched, and when you're doing this, you're pretty much refusing to let the offense get any breathing room for any screens because you're just betting on mismatches. You're betting on your team can survive on mismatches. That's what this is, and is it beneficial to do so? Yes, with the right lineup. So in terms of the specific players, the on-ball and off-ball pressure, you want to watch tutorial 8 for the details, but same thing, we're facing the Celtics again, so I can make it easier for you guys. Someone like Kyrie, you want to be tight and tight because he can shoot. Someone like Jaylen Brown at the same time, you want to be tight, obviously, because he can shoot threes. On-ball pressure start off as tight, but see what happens. Someone like Gordon Hayward, tight and tight again. But like I said, any center that you guard, no matter what they do, moderate and moderate, because that gives you best help defense. So here you can see a clip of a simple switch off-ball, working well with help with no rotation. So you can see Marcus Morris is able to set a screen for Rozier there. And Curry and Iggy simply just switched this. So this was a point guard small forward switch as demanded by us in the setting because we're doing switch all for off-ball screens. And you can see Green is now sliding over on the help and no rotation to help. Now Curry messed up the entry pass there, but now Durant is sliding over on the help and no rotation. No one's going to help the helper because that's what happens on help with no rotation. Initial defender comes over and now there is a quick double team. Draymond's guarding 2 guys at once and now we're having a scrambling defense now, right? Because our matchups are everywhere and we're trying to recover, but because of all the scrambling and we have a small ball lineup, it's fast. So we forced the Celtics to make one more pass than they wanted to, and one more pass was enough to get us that contest. That's beautiful defense. So here's another simple but perfect switch really on the off-ball action to shut down the off-ball by the Celtics. So you can see they're running the play. Here comes the off-ball between Kyrie and Brown. Clean switch by Curry and Clay, so that's shut down. But it rarely works out this nicely because what happens is when you're running this frantic switch heavy defense of those settings I just showed you, this is a high level defense and it's hard because it comes with a lot of micro elements that you're gonna manage and read yourself with the computer. But I can assure you though, once you get good at it, there's no defense that's better than this, and it's extremely rewarding because you do feel like you're working together with the computer to do the best job possible to shut down the offense. So here are some micro elements that you need to understand, some quirks. So if the AI on off-ball screens, if they're on screen, or if they aren't way behind, they won't switch off ball. So look, Kyrie is trying to set a screen on Durant here, and Durant gets over it. So the Curry is not going to switch with Durant because Durant was never pinned off by the screen. So now there's no switch there and they stay. You can see this clip here again. Kyrie is trying to pin off Clay there of an off-ball screen on the right side, and Kyrie doesn't do a good job here. So Clay and Curry are not going to switch because there's no contact on that screen. I see no contact, so there's no switch. Clay falls behind on the second Horford screen. You see now there's a switch because Clay is falling behind on Jaylen Brown. So now Clay wants to switch with Green, and you can see Clay is going to pick up Horford while Green is going to pick up Jaylen Brown, and Curry is going to stay on Kyrie, and we fully shut that down. That's beautiful work. And if you do that, switch defense forces the offense to have no breathing room because no one's falling behind. So it forces them to attack in ISO, and when they attack in ISO and you got the good defenders ripped by Iguodala, excellent work on the switch defense right there. So you can see this clip again. The Celtics are coming down, Hall of Fame Celtics. They run an off-ball action, and because Horford sets an awesome screen here, Draymond has to switch it with KD because KD actually made contact with the screen. Remember, they only switch if the screener makes contact with the off-ball defender. Free quarter bottom defense right there. We tipped the pass. They got lucky. They got it back. It's a mismatch, so that's not too bad. It's good defense, but they got lucky on the recovery there. So also at the same time, you need to understand high defensive IQ CPU players, at times they would offer switches early. So you can see Clay is an excellent IQ defender as a CPU. He offers the switch early between Kyrie and Jaylen Brown. And Clay made the right call here. All he has to do now is pick up Kyrie. But unfortunately, Kyrie is too fast for him, and Clay took a bad angle. So you can see Kyrie got a little bit of separation here. And what really should have happened is I should have controlled Clay when he called the switch early because he made the right call. So I should have taken control of him and helped him out. But I controlled Clay too late, and by the time I realized, I'm about half a second off. So Clay made the right call, but I switched to him too late myself to use and control him. So if I was 0.5 seconds faster, I would have contested a shot. So that's the skill gap in this defense. So you gotta be able to read and react quickly, especially when the computer is trying to help you by, telling you, hey, I'm gonna go early here because I see a good thing. So you gotta be able to react to that. I didn't, so I paid for it. So watch here, KD, CPU KD, calls the switch early between Marcus Smart and Horford. So I could control KD here and pick up Smart, or I could let CPU deal with it. So I trust CPU because Clay is a good defender. However, here you can see Clay CPU avoided the screen perfectly, therefore no switch. Like I said, if the off-ball screens nobody, computer won't switch. You need to understand this and use that to your favor, because if there's no screen, why switch? Just get it over with. So that shuts it down. Computer is forced to get into this isolation offense again, and that favors us. That's what switching does. You force the offense into isolations. So you can also at the same time override CPU offer of switches. So you can see right here, Curry is falling way behind. Clay is offering to switch, but I understand in this situation that Curry can probably recover, and I switched to Curry correctly here. So I override Clay's offer to switch by being Curry myself, and I'm still running at Kyrie. So I manually control Curry to close out, which is the right read, even though Clay wanted to switch, which is fine. And Curry I was able to contest that perfectly, shut it down. Clay stayed on Brown, and I got a decent contest out of it. And in the end, I was able to force a miss. So I did a good override there. So that's another element. Sometimes you can override the CPU's early call for switches. Also, sometimes instead of overriding CPU switches, if you can spot the offense screen action early, you can actually also switch the play yourself, you see? So I saw this pin action coming faster than the AI could. So I simply just switched to Clay on my own, really, and shut this down. You can see I switched to Clay, bang, right there, and I'm just gonna pick up Kyrie. I switched it myself because I understand what's coming. I don't need computer to tell me. They might have, they probably was gonna tell me, but I did it faster than they did. So that's another override, but in kind of like a reverse setting. Jaylen Brown got the mismatch, but we were able to bump him it if he called, but that's still good defense, not too bad there. So, but beware of doing too much because you got to focus on your user footwork, right? Because you see here, Clay wanted to switch because Kyrie hit him. Remember, if there's contact, Clay has to switch. But my manual control Curry, I put him in a terrible position, you see that? So that's my fault. So I was trying to do too much instead of letting the computer do a simple switch themselves. So Curry is falling way behind, and Horford is setting another screen. So now I'm trying to clean up my own mess now, right? So I'm switching to Draymond Green here to try to guard Brown, bump him off, and hopefully Curry and Clay can get it right. Like Curry picks up Kyrie, Clay pick up Horford, hopefully. But things got too messy because of the initial mistake I made with Curry, which is my fault. And we ended up guarding Jaylen Brown with two guys. You see my manual control Green and also the CPU control Curry were both guarding Jaylen Brown, which is a messed up on my part because of my initial mistake. So that's the danger of running a switch heavy defense. Sometimes your switching might get confused and you'll put two guys on one guy, which is not ideal, right? But when you do it right, it's pretty solid. So here in this clip, you can see I have my icons up already on that left side. I see that screen action coming between Kyrie and Jaylen. And I'm ready to deal with the switches. So I see that Kyrie was able to pin off Clay, so this time I'm smart. Instead of using Curry and putting him out of position, I learned, and I saw Clay is stuck, so I'm just going to control him anyways and let Curry switch. Remember, off-ball screen with contact, your computer teammates are going to switch. So I can see Curry did the right thing as I manually control Clay, that he is about to switch on to Jaylen there, which is excellent. Draymond's going to stay on Horford, no switch there. So I decided, because of the spacing, I'm going to control Green just to bump Jaylen Brown a little to help Curry recover more, because I have, the spacing is good enough. It's too congested right now, so I can play that. So I bump him off, cut off the passing lane, and watch the defense recover as a squad. Curry gets off the bound. My manual Draymond confronts Horford. I switch to Clay because computer Clay was in good position to shut Curry down. But the Hall of Fame Celtics don't let up, and they run another action right here, kind of like a dribble handoff action, like a DHO. And observe CPU Clay being brilliant on switch calls. That's why you kind of want to run a switch heavy defense, because if you got good defenders like Clay, just watch Clay demonstrate his IQ to you here. So he decides to switch it with KD. So now KD is going to be on Kyrie. Look at computer Clay taking the correct position back to the opposite side to stop Tatum from either slipping or diving to the rim. I am manually controlling Durant to guard Kyrie on ball. So, but as my Durant gets stuck on Tatum, it's kind of like a moving screen. You can see CPU Clay switches again back to Kyrie, this time off Tatum. Perfect positioning by him. And I should have controlled Clay right there, switch it off so Durant can catch up. I should have been Clay manually, but I made a terrible call. I stayed as KD manually, and I ruined every good thing that computer Clay did right there. Like, he was so good, but I messed it all up by trying to run a Kyrie, leaving Tatum open, and I'm bumping off computer Clay, making him foul. So that's my fault. I should have done better on my reading and reacting and execution, but CPU was excellent, or CPU Clay was excellent. So you can see this time, I did it right. So there's a switch on that action between Tatum and Green there. A little bit of contact on me, so switch, Draymond picked it up. And in a pick and roll setting, understand this. If the ball handler don't use the screen, no contact on the screen, there's no switch. So you can see Tatum dribble away from the pick and roll screen there. So Livingston and Green are not going to switch because there's no not any contact on that screen. So no switch, they forced the ball around, but because we stopped them for the initial switch, we forced them into a bad ISO again because they wanted to take the mismatch. We baited them into taking a mismatch, and we made them pay for it. So understand this, also in pick and rolls, you see in this instance, Marcus Morris is trying to set a pick of Curry right there, but he makes no contact with Curry. So if the on-ball screen makes no contact, there is no switch. Even though KD wanted to switch it, you can see that, but he realized Marcus Morris screened nobody, so he's just going to follow Curry a bit and get back to Marcus Morris. Curry's not going to switch. And that was pretty nice. So, and lastly, understand this. If you control the hedge defender, so you can see in this pick and roll, I'm controlling Draymond. It says switch. This is what you don't want to do. If you control the hedge defender, there will never be a switch that takes place on the pick and roll, no matter what happens. No matter if they hit the screen, they don't hit the screen, doesn't matter. If you want to switch in the pick and roll setting against the offense, don't control the hedge defender. The on-ball defender will not switch with you, and you control. Watch, I'm controlling the hedge defender again, which is Draymond Green here. Even though Horford made contact with Durant, they won't switch. This is 2K's way of allowing you to cancel a switch. So if you see an on-ball pick and roll where I'll give all those switch settings, don't control the hedge defender because they won't switch unless you don't want them to. Then control the hedge defender. But if you control the on-ball defender, then the switch will happen. So here, I'm controlling Clay, and you can see the screen is coming up by Marcus Morris, and you can see they're about to switch. And here's a pro tip: if you really want them to switch, run the guy into the pick. Because if you run into the guy into the pick, not only will they switch for you, this will also slow down the road and at the same time slow down the fade, right? And it will make the switch very easier. So if you're bound to switch a pick and roll and you have the on-ball defender, make sure you run into the pick just to slow down the screener and make sure the hedge guy is going to switch with you. So it's pretty smart to do that. So keep that in mind. And also you can see here there's a beautiful help and no rotation by Draymond there. Kind of shows on Marcus Morris to stop the roll. Bumps him off and then immediately recovers back to Horford. That's controlled by me, but great spacing by the defense. Once again, the switching forced them into this isolation spacing, which favors us. And here the Celtics are on the side pick and roll between Tatum and Horford. And CPU, Draymond Green did great here, but I took a poor angle with my user control KD. I needed to hit the pick, but I did it, but it doesn't. So I got lucky though, right? Because a computer, Draymond Green bailed me out by picking me up on the switch. I was so bad with KD, but they couldn't make the roll pass because Horford rolled too late, and I switched back to Draymond, but computer Draymond did all the work, so CPU is going to do great for you if you got a good team for switch defense. And here, as the pick and roll happened, I stayed as the ball handler to allow the switch, so you can see I'm Durant, and I'm allowing Draymond to switch, so I'm not taking the hedge. And Draymond switches beautifully, and I became Green right here, but I did some poor manual defense on this mismatch. Tatum was a little bit faster, so he got one dribble by me, and I was about half a second too late, and I contested poorly, so I pay for it. But as you saw, the CPU switching was excellent. That's just on me for doing a bad job, so something you want to avoid too. So never forget your ability to read and execute in this switch-heavy frantic defense is still key. You can see here that that's a solid switch between Livingston and Draymond, and they dribble handoff again, and they try to run this oversized pick and roll, but I ran into the screen myself. That's my fault again. I over-anticipated it trying to trigger the switch, but instead, Horford was smart. He went the other way, and he made me pay for it. Tough shot, but I paid for it again. But if I do it correctly, if I do the reading and the execution correctly, this is perfect reading and execution within the system. So watch. Here comes the initial action. We switch it, and now Durant's on Tatum. We switch it again, and we switch it back. And now they run a side screen, and we switch this. I run into the screen, and we steal the ball. That's awesome. Frantic switch-heavy defense. Running by us and the computer, working together in sync to dominate the offense. Watch here again. Good clean switch, good clean contest. And as always, if you can play defense this good, you're going to be rewarded on the offensive end. So make sure you practice a lot, but understand the benefits that do come with this switch heavy system. Here are the full settings for your reference. I did them slowly on purpose so you can just see them. And remember though, make sure you stay attached to set to no, because I did it later in the after I did these original settings, because I forgot to do it in the game, but I did do them. So that's why I just wanted to make sure you understand that. And for those of you who saw tutorial 8, if you haven't, make sure you watch it, because this one is a little bit ahead of that one in terms of concepts and a little bit of details you're gonna know from 8 just to understand everything. I think for some of you who followed me long enough, I think what you really need, you probably catch on already, that tutorial 8 and 9 are actually meant to be combined together to help you form a system that is going to perfectly shut down the other team by either switching the correct matchups or using over soft hedge and things like that on different matchups, right? Because teams have different roster or whatever roster that suits you. You want to use elements of both tutorial 9 and 8 of these settings to create the best defense possible for yourself on your lineup against the matchup that you're facing. But in order to do so, right, you need to kind of do each separately, the kind of, you know, grind it out, hedged over type of defense, and then you do the kind of small ball frantic switch type of defense you saw here in tutorial number 9. Try both separately, and once you have a good feel of both, then you will understand which elements of either one you want to combine to, you know, have your final settings that suits the lineup perfectly. Because if you really think about it, I mean, do you really want to switch a 1-5 pick and roll between Curry and Green? No, even though, because it's point guard and center. I did it here just to, you know, have a good feel for you. You can still do it, because then you're gonna be frantic and chaos and trap and things like that. But you can literally run a system that's 1-5 don't switch, but 2-4 switch, or 1-4 switch, just 1-5. But to appreciate or to be able to execute a system of that depth, you need to be able to do all switch first in with one team, one system, and then all hedge and go over first on the same team, maybe on a different system. Once you get both down, then you can combine both, and obviously as time goes on, I will be showing you guys how to combine both together. But let's stick with these for now. So you have the general settings with you. Alright, so if you enjoyed this, add me a like. So these are the first set of defensive settings I want to show you guys this year. I think it's probably better than this way instead of last year's way where I did 40 minutes. that was too much. And sorry for yelling at the beginning of the tutorial like usual. I do that to hype myself up to get ready to do the audio, but I'll try to quiet down, so that's my bad. But yes, as always, thanks for coming by. More money plays and probably a post-move tutorial, and obviously the tiny guard dribble move, because that video reached 1,000 likes. That will probably be available sometime next week. Because I make these tutorials actually, like, whatever you guys see, I'm about a week and a half ahead. So yeah, so I've made these already from before. I just, you know, work on them throughout the week. So yeah, I will catch on, but there will likely be a post-move tutorial and another beautiful money play from the Pelicans playbook to help you guys out on Play Now Online, my team, and against your friends, alright? So, always happy to be here, and I'll see you guys again this weekend.